better when the mics get wet. Blow up mindset, no regrets. Welcome to the Natasha Effect.
Welcome back to the Natasha Effect, where we hopefully change perspectives one conversation at a time. I have been thinking about this idea and this topic a lot lately, so that's why talking with Nicole today is going to be super fun, super interesting, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do. I think a lot of women believe that motherhood is supposed to complete them, their job is supposed to drive them, but the thing is, we're trying to make everything finally make sense. So what I've actually seen is it doesn't really complete you, it kind of exposes you. And I feel like you touch on that a little bit. And
Yeah.
it shows you exactly who you are, who you're not, and who you want to be. And I see the head nod, so I know we're with it. And you don't get to run from it, especially being a mom. You still have to show up. So today we're going to talk about that, not the aesthetic version of motherhood, but the reality of becoming a mom, but also running a business while being responsible for someone else. So like I said, Nicole Patrick is here with me today. She is the founder of the Beauty Bar and Lounge and Sophia Nicole Cosmetics. And what stood out to me about her story was how abrupt the shift in her life was. So I'll let you go ahead and explain who you are and what you do, but more importantly, how do you explain who you are right now?
Oh, I love that second question. Okay. So, what it is that I do. So, as you said, and hi, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of
Pleasure
course.
to be here and share just my experience and my journey. So, as you said, yes, I have two businesses that I run, the Beauty Bar and Lounge, which is dealing with the aesthetic side. So, makeup, I have been a makeup artist for 14 years. Being a licensed
Keep the makeup. She looks fabulous.
must be camera ready, must show up. So like I said, it's either all or nothing. So when I'm home, hair is up, no makeup on, sweatpants, the comfy clothes. I'm in my pajamas by 4:30, 5:30, very early, and I love it. So the beauty bar and lounge, like I said, the makeup side of it, which is what I do. Being a licensed esthetician, I can also do waxing. Facials are not my joy, but I have a colleague who does full body waxing facials, which bring her joy, brow tinting. So we bring that self-care to our clients as well. And then I created Sophia Nicole Cosmetics for my daughter. And that was birthed literally from her from there and started a cosmetic
Literally and figuratively.
all in all the ways that you can possibly think of starting something. That's it. So what I have right now is a full lip line at my location. We make in-house the lipsticks, glosses, and a lip balm, and I finally have lip liners, so I'm really proud to have at least a full lip line right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, wearing it today, and the full goal is to have a full line from skincare to cleansers to skin prep and all of the makeup, and then the setting and the cleansing of it as well. So that is the end goal of
Mhm.
Sophia Nicole Cosmetics for sure, to build that while
And
raising.
where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey.
Ooh, is it still cold there?
Yes, hence the turtleneck today. And
Well,
my voice going in and out, like it's 80 degrees one day, so my allergies are crazy, and then the next it's cold, so my
girl,
body.
don't tell me about allergies. I'm in
Yeah.
Florida and this pollen came with hands this season.
Oh my God, my allergy medicine is working overtime these
I
days.
can't even take it.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough for sure. So, yeah.
Well, at least hopefully you get a warmer day soon. But yeah, I definitely thought that was interesting or I think what's really cool is that you have a beauty business, but you're also implementing your own products, and that was inspired by your daughter. So I think that is super cool, super amazing. When I learned about that through your story. But I do think that there's a difference between, and I touched on this a little bit in the intro, is like, what we do and who we're becoming. And you kind of touched on that. You said, oh, I like that second part of the question because it's not always the same, right?
No.
And so I've noticed a lot of women, especially what do we say, mompreneurs or mom
Mhm.
entrepreneurs,
Yes.
they hit a point where they realize that the version of themselves that they're operating as isn't enough for where they want to go. And clearly, you just said you have some big goals, like you want to do this. So, do you feel like you've hit that point at all, or how did you kind of, what forced you into that, or how did you get over that aspect of moving forward when you felt like you hit a wall?
Um, for me, there is no wall to hit. When
Fair
I
point.
have when I have a goal in mind or the the propelling aspect of things happening, for me, everything that I do is on me. I don't have I don't have additional income coming elsewhere. It's just me providing. So in my mind, there is no choice but to keep moving forward, to pivot if necessary, to learn from any mistakes, to celebrate the things that are working and going from there. There is no stopping with that.
What kind of pivots have you made or have you had to make so far in your business?
Finding out I was pregnant, you know, I mean, I
So
I mean,
that's a good one. That's
that will top everything. Everything else is just minuscule compared to all of that because there was and is such a defined line of what my life well, at least what I thought my life was and how it
yeah,
was going and the trajectory of that versus finding out I was pregnant and then going forward with this chapter, not
yeah.
even chapter, this volume, this literally second part of my life. Um, so that to me is, and to answer that question of like, who are we becoming? I'm I'm still in that baby part of it too, because everything is and was just so new. So that's how I handle things. And I'm not saying that it's just, okay, that didn't work out. All right. I question things a lot. I worry a lot. That
I think we all do as women or
right as
moms.
women and both, both things. You just the wheels never stop turning. The tabs just never seem to close. They seem to keep adding on in our minds.
Right. I feel
So
like I have a never ending to-do list or like just
absolutely. Absolutely. I
never
just saw
ends.
something yesterday that it was like, take a picture of your living room or take a picture of a room, and that's how your inner thoughts are. And I was like, I don't need a picture. I see exactly what's going on here. I I see exactly how everything is, and it's how I feel. And what can I do? What can I do to maybe help myself? Uh,
Yeah.
and that's where just having a good support system comes into play. It's not necessarily family, it's your friends who are your chosen family, your tribe.
Yeah, I say that. It's funny you mentioned that because I say it all the time to my husband, like, excuse me, we'll be out and I'll see like single moms and then, I had a single mom for a good portion of my life.
Mhm.
And my mom, there was 5 of us, 2 sets of twins and myself. And I do not know to this day how she did it because I have one and he's almost 3 and I'm pregnant with this one. And I'm just picturing in my head, like if I had to have 2 brand new babies and him running around, because that was about the age I was with the first set.
Wow.
I don't know how the hell she did it, to be honest. And so that's where support system, like without my husband, I wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, he's watching our toddler right now.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things that I do, finish school, do what I need to do, and same with him, vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think the tribe part is important too, because it doesn't always have to be family. I think people get really stuck on that. Because my
Yes.
family lives in Maine, but I'm in Florida.
Oh my god,
So
opposite ends of the East Coast there. I mean,
yeah. So definitely not really a
mm,
huge physical support. I mean,
right.
yeah, I can call them and those types of things, but they're not physically here, which
Yes.
is definitely a difference.
Mhm. For sure. For sure.
I wanted to say because you kind of touched on it. You're like, when I became pregnant, yes, huge pivot, and that's for anybody. But your situation was not gradual.
No. It
When I
was
was reading when I was reading the questionnaire, I said 8 months. Because I found out at Again, we were trying those. So I found out at 3 weeks. So I couldn't even, I'm 25 weeks right now. I couldn't even fathom the idea of not knowing. And then just being like, there's a baby here next month. Like that's an insane pivot. So I think that that is worthy to note that that wasn't a very gradual, you know, we think of pregnancy as very gradual transition. You have time to
And
plan, to prep, to think.
process.
And that was your first, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's also a whole nother thing. You have to completely change your life. Like you did not get to transition
No,
slowly.
it was
So
instantaneous.
yeah.
Instant.
So that was life removing your ability to hesitate. You don't get to overthink it. You just had to become it. And that probably has helped you like now in business. You just go and do it. But like I said, I had the opposite experience. So I had time to think, to process, to prepare. So I'm curious, what actually happened for you mentally in that moment? Like, how did you process it? Did you just go into handle it mode? Like, how did you move forward and make those pivots?
The moment I found out, and by finding out, I mean, I took home pregnancy test and a few days later went to the ER and had an ultrasound and then saw a baby on that screen. Um, and my very, 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 very first emotion and feeling, which was a minuscule second, was I was excited. And then everything else came flooding in. And in
Yeah.
that moment, too, it was no longer about me. It was no longer about my goals. It was no longer about anything that I wanted. It was about this baby. And
Mhm.
it was about also processing, because of how far along I was, this baby could come at any day at this point. I was 34 weeks.
Yeah.
And at that
Any day
point,
is a fact.
at any day, she could have arrived. And thankfully, my family were good like that, of like, okay, all hands on deck. And that's what
Luckily,
happened.
yeah.
And so it was just, it took a long time to actually emotionally settle down a little bit
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
and really process it. I still look at her and she's going to be 2 soon, and I'm still floored by the fact that I'm a mom. I'm still floored that this little human was just hiding out, chilling, and poof.
Well, because if you think about it, I mean, yeah, you didn't have those 9 months to really accept you becoming a mom. A lot of people,
Mhm.
and that's something I think a lot of people don't talk about is so this is my second, so it's not as crazy now. But with my first, you mourn the old person that you were, like the life that you had, the friends that you had, the goals, whatever. And not in a bad way, like we say mourn, but just in
But
a
it's true.
different way.
But it's true. Even after your child is here or children
Hmm.
are here, and I think that's important to note and to let women who are pregnant or with children know that it's okay. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to look at your day and go, man, today's really hard and I would love nothing more than for just it to be quiet.
I tell people all the time, like, I miss my old self. And it's not that I don't love the new, I guess, version of me or the
Yes.
mom version of me. But I think too many people allow mom to become their identity. And that is not something I'm going to do. Like, I love being a mom. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love my son. I love this new child. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having more kids. But it is not like I'm not Natasha the mom. Like that is just part of me. And I think some people often a lot more than we realize are always just once they become a mom, that's it. And we
Yeah.
see it all the time. Like they don't ever go do anything for themselves. They
Yeah.
don't go hang out with just their friends. And I get it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes
Mhm.
it is just privilege. But like, I try and maintain that line. Like, okay, I have the Natasha I am with my friends. I have the mom version of Natasha. I have business Natasha. I
Yeah.
have wife Natasha.
Yes.
And
Because we weren't always all those things either.
right,
At some
exactly.
point, our first identity was we were a daughter to somebody.
Mhm.
and or a sibling or a cousin or all of this, and
Or
that's
a
fine.
friend.
Exactly. So becoming a mom, that's just an added part of who we are and what our story is and what our journey is.
100%. Yeah.
And to not forget who we were and who we are and who we're
Mhm.
becoming.
And that's the other part too, is I think a lot of people, they'll rely on, like, motherhood to give them some sort of identity,
Yes,
and
and to fill a
yes.
void, and to
Yeah.
fill a void, and you know, it's so funny, I saw something, I think it was shortly after my daughter was born, something like that, and it was a woman who said, "Sometimes people have children to fill a void, the
Mhm.
love that they didn't receive, and they look to their children to
For
fix
that
that."
bond.
Yep,
Yeah.
to fix that void, and a lot of times that can backfire, and that made me pause for a moment and sit back and sit with that for a moment
Mhm.
because, comparatively speaking, I am an older mom. I'm 41. I'm not in my mid-20s or, early 20s, early 30s, anything like that. I am an older mom, and so I have lived some life before my daughter. I have.
That's even sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's even crazier that you say, like, "Oh, you're an older mom," because that means you got pregnant late. Like, and so that's even more of a shock too, not
Okay, here's this one, I got pregnant on my 39th birthday.
it said
Happy
39
birthday.
the new 29, what's up?
Well, oh my god, so that so there's that, and having kids was not on my life plan ever.
Yeah,
Growing up, it wasn't, "I dream of my wedding day, and I dream of, having 3 kids," or all that. No, I remember dressing up in a gown, pretending to be on a red carpet. That was my dream.
fair.
That's
Yeah,
what I was told and dreaming of.
I never wanted kids either until I'm in the military, so I was deployed overseas
Mm,
in 2020, like, during COVID, and when I was overseas, I remember, like, everyone calling their families and calling their kids, and they would use that as, like, a bigger reason to get through or a bigger reason to push through, and, like, yeah, I could call my mom and my sisters and my friends, but sometimes that wasn't enough on the hard days,
mhm.
and it made me realize, like, I wanted something more than myself, I wanted something bigger, so it wasn't really until I was in my 20s that I knew I wanted a child, and then I had my first one at 27. So, I think that
7, that wasn't even, I was starting my career at with MAC Cosmetics, like, that was not on my life plan. That
that's
was
so
not.
crazy,
Mm.
but here you are.
But, and what's the phrase? You make plans and God laughs or something, something like that,
Yeah, you wanna
and
hear God laugh, tell him your plans. That's
exactly.
what they
So
say.
exactly, and that just shows too, my little one was meant to be here, and I
Mhm.
know, looking back, I know I was meant to find out later on because I wouldn't have, say, expanded my business into the location that I'm in
Mhm.
now. I found out about my daughter 2 weeks after I signed a year lease.
Wow, that's crazy.
Um, and for women, just the word no is fine if you don't want to have
I
children.
tell people all the time, "No" is a complete sentence.
So do I, and that's totally fine. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to have your reasons, but my reason was no. And we all know how that turned out now.
Well, like you said, God was like, "Ha, I got you.
Yep,
You just
joke's
gonna
on
see it
you.
later."
Joke is on you. And I'm just very thankful because my little one she's awesome. Like, I could not have, I compare it to, in a way, like, to build a bear. I could not have built and put together a better human being.
Aw.
She is just so kind. She's funny. She is very smart. And it's crazy. And I love seeing at this age the processing and how she understands and she gets it. She's just,
Do you ever, like, when you're talking to them, because mine's 2, almost 3, when I'm talking to him, I literally see him thinking,
yes,
and then I'm like and it's like you wanna say something else, but then you watch their thought process. I wish I could, like, fully see it because 'cause
yes.
I'm sure it's
I wish
much
I could be in
more than
her
what we
head.
think.
Yes, I wish I could be in her head and just wonder
Yeah.
what's going on in there. Something as simple as, "Okay, honey, why don't you go get your coat? We're gonna get socks and shoes and coats on." And she looks for a second, and she'll walk into her room and grab her coat, like, she gets it.
Yeah.
Puts her coat on, she goes, "Bye-bye. Okay, let's go." I mean, I just I she's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm so glad that she's here.
Mhm.
I'm so glad that I was kind of forced into motherhood.
At least that happened, like, later, like you said, instead of super early on.
Yes.
Um, because it's crazy to me because when you said the age, and I don't have this opinion, but, healthcare does, that anything over 35 is a geriatric pregnancy, which
Oh my god. Let me tell you, my first appointment too, it didn't even start, and I looked at the nurse or whomever in the room dead in the eye, and I said, "I'm letting you know right now, if you call me the G word, I'm leaving." And she went, "No, no, 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 we don't do that here." I said, "Okay, we can proceed." Because
yeah.
no, because I don't live a wild lifestyle. And of course, everyone's like, "Did you drink?" Sure, I had some glasses of wine here and there. There was one
Yeah.
night where I vividly remember maybe having 3 or 4 in the span of 6 hours, something
Mhm.
like that. But at the same time, okay, it's not the end of the world. Back then, the water was more contaminated than beer and wine, and here we are as
True.
beings still surviving. There are people whose entire diet is fish and raw fish or whatever, so
There's people whose entire diet is just straight chemicals, but, it's a different
exactly,
topic.
chemicals. There are people who do hard drugs and they have children who are completely fine. So
Mhm.
I'm just grateful that my daughter is healthy and she's doing very well and she is by standards a normal child.
Yeah.
So and at the same time too, I have been working out and going to the gym for years. So I was still working out. That
That
wasn't
makes a
anything
difference
new.
too,
It
for sure.
absolutely
I
does. And
worked out both my whole last pregnancy, and then this one, I worked out as well,
mhm.
or
I
have been.
I looking back, I'm pretty sure I was starting contractions. Here I was at the gym doing a 45-pound clean and jerk at the
She's like,
bar,
"Wow, this workout's extra hard today."
and I'm like, I just remember squatting down and being like, and I'm like, maybe it's Braxton Hicks. Once again, I should never self-diagnose anything in my life because there's that. And I remember the trainer, she's like, Nicole, you better not be giving birth over there. And I was like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. Nope, I had my daughter the next day. So
Like, "No, it's fine."
yes, but I definitely equate my pregnancy, her birth, my recovery because I took care of myself and I had the physical
Yeah.
capacity and strength to recover. After I had my daughter, I had some complications. My placenta didn't detach, and I didn't. I don't know this that after a half an hour and all of this, you might go in for a surgery, and that's what happened. And I wound up hemorrhaging, and
Oh, wow.
um, I say that, but it still doesn't process how dangerous and scary that actually is, that there could have been a possibility that maybe I am not here because of that. Um,
Yeah, it is crazy.
right?
Like, birth is a crazy thing because
Yeah.
it's so normal, right? I mean, people give birth, millions of people give birth every day, or hundreds of people, whatever. Um, and we're meant to do it, but it's still, if you think back to what the 1800s, stuff like that, so many moms did die giving childbirth.
There are women who still do,
No, true. Just
and it's just
thankfully not as high numbers,
yeah,
but
but it's
it's
still the
really
risk.
crazy.
Yeah, you never know. So I'm just thankful that my daughter was born without any complications. I'm glad that anything that I ran into. I mean, the next day I was standing up and the nurse comes in and she's like, "Oh, I heard her birth was great, and I hear we had a little scare." And I just, as I'm standing there, went, "Okay." Like
Yeah.
it still doesn't really process the gravity of it. And I just remember the nurse being like, "How are you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Should I be feeling anything?" Like, So and again,
For real, I feel as a woman, not even a woman, we are so uneducated on the process of what happens, especially
yeah,
during birth. And I
yes,
say that because I'm a very like research oriented person. Like I made sure I obviously like I knew about mine, so a little different situation, but a huge advocate for myself. I'm a huge like all natural, no pain meds, no epidural, like whatever.
God
And
bless you. Because they were like, epidural. I was like, yes, please. And that was the
that's
best.
my sister. And you know, I don't judge anyone for it. It's just that's
Yeah.
my own personal choice.
Yes. And listen, kudos to you on that.
And so
Kudos.
the doctor, and that's kind of where I was going with the like the geriatric pregnancy and like you know the doctors in that aspect is they're so into pushing their agenda or what they need to do and we're not even educated on our options, and I feel like that's huge in pregnancy
Mhm.
because um we'll start with the birth. So I told her I want it all natural, like here's my birth plan, I don't want this. I'm telling you, every 5 minutes, Nicole, someone came in. Do you want something to take the edge off? Do you want, like, yes, I'm in pain, but no, I told you I don't want anything. Like, you know, whatever. And so just stop offering it to me. I did get to a point where I was almost about to be like, you should fuck it, give it to me. Like, I was
Yeah.
going, I was in so much pain. I was like, it cannot get worse. Cause I think they only told me I was at 4 centimeters. And
I was at 3 and I was like, this gets worse. No.
that's what I said to my husband. I was like, how much longer can this go? And he was like, well, has to go to 10. So I feel like worse. And, but I remember I went to the bathroom or tried, right? And something just didn't feel right. Like I couldn't go. I was just trying to pee, like I couldn't go pee. And so I told my husband to get the nurse. And she's like, well, we just checked you. You're only at 4 centimeters. I said, listen, lady, you need to check again.
Hmm.
And it's like if you don't push for that, and I'm glad I did because he was here. He was
Oh,
he was trying to say what's up, and that's why I had
oh,
to pee. And so she was like, "Hold on, don't push. We're waiting for the doctor." And so the doctor came in, and she was like, "Wow, for a first time mom, like you progressed really fast." Because I think I checked in the hospital at 10:30 at night. I gave birth by 4:30 in the morning. First time mom, no meds, no nothing. And I think I think she said 6 minutes. So 3 pushes, he was out. And so listen to your body. That would be
yep.
what I would tell everybody.
Yes.
Because if
Yes.
I
And
didn't
trust your
tell
instincts. And trust
or
your
push
instincts.
for her to check again, she
Yep.
kept telling me, oh, we just checked and you're only at 4. Like, there's no
Yep.
way. Lady, I'm telling you,
But
there is
like
a way.
way. It's just like kids. 1 minute they could be fine and like they could wake up from a nap and have a fever and you're like, how did this
Yeah.
even happen?
Like,
You
what
know?
the hell?
Yeah,
What's going
exactly.
on?
And that's funny. So my water broke. It was 12:30 in the morning. So a little
Why
past
is it
midnight.
always at night? Like, we
I
can't
don't
just
know.
have a
But
regular
this is
day.
I know, and this is where I'm like, my little one heard my conversation because again, not knowing when this little nugget was going to be showing up, I was getting things done, and it was to the point too where I was like, I need to get my bag ready, and I need and because of my situation, it was determined, okay, I'm going to go and at least spend maybe a few days or a week with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I've had
Mhm.
a couple surgeries, and that's what I did. My sister's a nurse as well, and she was like, "Listen, just
Well,
in case,
that's helpful.
yeah, and just in case if there's any complications, you're a first time mom with a newborn." Now, granted, I've been an aunt since I was 10 years old, and there are my daughter's grandbaby number 9, so
Wow.
been around little ones for a very very long time. But again, it's your own, and as the first time.
Definitely different. Yeah.
Right? And my sister, I also, ensured that she was my power of attorney should anything happen. And the way that I
Mhm.
am, I made sure that thing was notarized too. Like, that is I'm not playing around here.
Official, she
Yes,
said.
like, I'm serious about this. So, what was I saying? Oh, so I was also thinking, okay, if I'm at my sister's, what if I have clients? Because I'm self-employed, so it's not like I get even a few, not even 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, am I gonna have to go into work? This, that, the other thing. What if this happens? What if that happens? So it wasn't just a bag and, some stuff. I had a suitcase and this, that, and the other thing. And I had just finished, literally just finished packing, had a list of things of, okay, last minute, one of them being like, make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because apparently you can't eat. And peanut butter and jelly is, I can just sneak that here and there. Lay down, went to go to sleep. Shortly after, I sat up and I went, no way. My water broke. My water
That's so
broke. This
funny.
kid knew. So then 12:32 PM is when she was born. Almost 12 hours later. And I pushed for about 22 minutes. I mean, I remember and
He said, "What's up?"
yep, and like I said, I did opt for the epidural because those contractions, I was like, "Oh my God, I cannot let this no, no, no."
But
So
like I said, you didn't really have time to I spent my whole pregnancy really you have to prep your
prepping.
mind for that,
Yes.
especially that level of pain.
Yes.
And that's what they say. Like you really do have to. It's very you have to be in your
Mental.
zone. You have to be
Yep,
like mentally able to
yep.
separate that and relax. And I honestly don't think that I could if I had found out a few weeks before that I was
Yep.
having a baby.
So
So
I was like, "Nope, that's fine." So, had the epidural and I was slowly progressing, so they gave me, what is it? Pitocin, right? Pitocin?
oh, I hate Pitocin, but yes.
And I did fine with it, and that is how I was able to progress rather quickly then, and like I said, 22 minutes later, a few pushes. I remember when it was starting to be go time because I was getting some back labor, and
Ooh, girl, the back labor was not it.
so but I will say it wasn't as bad because of that epidural, so I was like, "Okay," I just knew it was getting close. I
Mm.
remember I was getting my hair up, right? I'm like, "Okay."
She's like, I'm prepping, I'm prepping.
Right? Okay, and I told my sister as I'm doing this, I'm like, "Okay, I need you to tie the back of this gown because if it slides, I need focus here." And right, you're getting ready, you're showing your world to everybody, and in the same time, you're like, "I really don't care," like whatever, because all you care about is like you want your child to be born and be okay,
For
you're okay,
real.
all that, right? So right, hair's up, spread eagle, all that, and I'm pumping myself up. I'm like, "All right, this is what you're made for. This is what you do. This is why you're working out. Your body's strong. You got this. You got this. Got this. You're gonna
Like,
push
here we
it out,
go.
no problem, right?" And bam, 22 minutes later, there she is.
Natasha Effect, yeah, the vibe is set. Truth gets louder when the mics get wet. Glow up mindset, no regrets. Welcome to the Natasha Effect.